Let's take garbage and make it shine. This whole project is asinine. Waste some time with me, I can guarantee this old junk will soon toe the line.
We polishing turds, mediocrity curd. I can't find the words, this song is absurd. We're polishing turds, we're polishing turds.
Alright, today on Real Good at Doing Stuff, we're going to polish some turds some more. We're going to work on the beginning steps of kind of fixing up Cody's cylinder head situation. I told you we're going to take a look at dry decking. Well, today's the day. Let's talk about what dry decking is and why we do it. If you see on these heads, especially these heads, we got a lot of open voids here. And in normal situations, this is where your coolant, your water flows between the block and the cylinder head. Well, in big boost situations like we generally find ourselves in down here at HE&D, this can be a point where combustion pressures can leak into here and either pressurize our radiator, or we can push water out. And generally speaking, in a big power deal, it can for sure result in an unsafe situation. And one of the ways that we handle this when we can is we dry deck. And what that basically means is we're going to weld all these holes that we don't need shut, and we're going to plumb water in and out of the head through other means. And the deck surface itself is going to be sealed off and unavailable to escaping errant cylinder pressures. And this is going to make the head stronger and, more importantly, safer, and just one less thing to worry about in this build. The last thing anybody wants to do is drive over a bunch of coolant at 150 mile an hour or whatever when you have some kind of a failure. And this greatly reduces the risk of that happening. So, and the other thing we're going to address, or actually several things. When we dry deck this one, a lot of times I'll just weld the holes up, but these small block Chevrolets, sometimes they have pretty big size holes. So I'm probably gonna make some billet plugs to go in here, and we'll weld those in. That'll keep the head from potato chipping so bad when we're drawing up when I'm welding it. So that's, if some of the LS heads or whatever, I just got a bunch of little holes and I don't do that, I just weld it up. But in this case, we're gonna probably make a plug or two to fill some of these, or fill the majority of some of these. The other thing we got is this O-ring, which kind of sucks. It's barely sticking above the deck, right? So it's not doing what I want it to do. And sometimes this can be a difficult thing to repair, right? But in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to do two things at once here, get two birds stoned at the same time. I'm going to dig this out, and then we're going to dry deck the head, and then later on I'm going to come back. This is a 40 thousandths wire. I'm going to come back and try to recut the groove with a 50,000 to receive a 50 thousandths wire, and then hopefully we'll be able to get this thing in a little better situation. It's going to be tricky, but I think we can do it without causing ourselves too much grief. So on this episode, we're going to try to take care of both of those issues, or at least get prepared to. All right, so now we've got these holes kind of ground out and dressed up just to get them clean. Aluminum's got to be clean to weld. So the first thing we do is grind all this mess out. Get it clean. I've made some little plugs that I'm going to tack in here and get ready to zip the whole thing up.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Corn Pop was a very bad dude. Had bad breath and very rude. Fresh state razor in his boots. Cut you if you act too cute.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Let's go Bandit all the way. Empty shells are here to stay. Dipshit journalists tell you lies. Power order. Open your eyes.
All right, now we're all welded up. The next step will be go on our head surfacer and cut this off. Sometimes I'll take a grinder and knock the heavy spots off here just by hand, so we don't have to take as much in the machine. I'm probably going to do that. But then it's ready to get surfaced, and after that we'll probably move on to valve job and importing, and that we'll worry about the O-ring, fixing that situation last. But we're welded up. When I'm welding these things, generally speaking, I'm not concerned with cosmetics. This is not where you want to stack dimes and do all these internet welds. We're concerned with porosity, cooking out impurities, and trying to get it where when we surface it, there's not a bunch of pinholes, which is a kind of a fine art. It's not easy, but that's what the goal is. So when I'm welding this up, that's what I'm looking at in the future. Anyhow, let's skim these things and see what they look like. All right, we've got our cylinder head up in our servicing machine, all zeroed out with our fancy mechanical doodad, and we're ready to make some chips and get this thing all slicked up and straight.
Short. Almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
He almost lost his cat. He don't know where it's at. He almost lost his vet. He still ain't found it yet. He almost lost his cat. He don't know where it's at. He almost lost his vet. He still ain't found it yet. He almost lost his cat. He don't know where it's at. He almost lost his vet. He still ain't found it yet.
right, so that wraps up the dry decking process. As you can see here, no more holes for combustion pressure gases to escape and cause problems. Everything's tightened up, sealed up, and ready for big units of boost, because that's what we like to do around here. Next up on, if you're good at doing stuff, polishing turds, we're gonna probably move on to the valve job on this thing. The valve job here is pretty standard stuff, and we're gonna try to race it up a little bit. And I usually do that before I do most of my port work, and that because that's kind of what everything works around. So next up will be valve job, then port work, and that's it for today. If you need any merch, cool looking shirts like this or whatever, go to HeraldEngine.com, and it's all there. See you soon.
Mediocrity cat. I can't find the words. This song is absurd. We're polishing turds. We're polishing turds.